Hello, hello. We are going to be talking about Chapter 6, Lesson 2, Rational Exponents. The objective for today is to evaluate and simplify expressions containing rational exponents. And remember, rational exponents, rational means that they're talking about a fraction. So we're going to have a fraction in the exponent. So we're going to learn about that and what that means. Before we get started with the lesson, what I want to do is kind of a warm-up activity. And so we are just going to talk about squared numbers. What are squared numbers? So here, the first one would be 1 squared. 1 squared equals 1. 2 squared equals 4. 3 squared equals 9. And these are all squared numbers here. This is a squared number, squared number. So these are squared numbers. It's very important that you're able to identify what squared numbers are. So when you see 1, you know that's the same thing as 1 squared. When you see 4, you know that's the same thing as 2 squared. When you see 9, you know that's the same thing as 3 squared. These are squared numbers. So we're just going to go ahead and we really need to memorize these squared numbers. So we're going to keep going. 4 squared equals 16. 16 is a squared number. 5 squared equals 25. 6 squared equals 36. 7 squared equals 49. Again, these are all squared numbers. I'm going to go up here. 8 squared is 8, the same as 8 times 8, right? All this is the same as 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16, right? So 8 times 8 is 64. 9 squared is 9 times 1, which 9, which is 81. 10 squared is 10 times 10, which is 100. And these are all squared numbers. You need to be able to identify these circled numbers. 11 squared is the same thing as 11 times 11, which is 121. 12 squared is the same thing as 12 times 12, which is 144. 13 squared, I'm not exactly sure. I have a feeling. I feel like it's 169, but I'm going to figure it out real quick. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. Yeah, so 169. 14 squared is the same thing as 14 times 14. Let's figure that one out real quick. I really feel like it's 196, but I'm not 100%. 16. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 4 times 1 is 4. 1. Did I say 196? Yeah, 196. Okay, we're going to keep going. 15 squared. I really think it's 225, but let's just double check. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7. There's a 0 there. 5, 1. Yeah, 225. And let's go 16 squared. And I think that that's as far as we'll go. 6 times 6 is 36, right? The 6 carry the 3. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 is 9. 0 for the tens place. That's 6. That's 1. We got 6. What's that? 5, 2, 256. Okay. So these are all the squared numbers that we need to memorize. What's going to happen is you're going to see a number like 169 on your homework, and it's going to ask for the square root of it. And if you recognize that this is you know that this is the same thing as 13 squared, it's going to be a ton easier for you, okay? So we're going to memorize all of these squared numbers and kind of practice this with our warm-up. So these are the squared numbers we're going to memorize. And then there's cube numbers. We're going to have to memorize some cube numbers first, too. So the cube numbers, that's like 1 cubed, which is the same thing as 1 times 1 times 1, right? So that's 1. You have 2 cubed. 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So that is a cube number. 3 cubed is the same thing as 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So 27 is a cube number. 4 cubed, 4 times 4 times 4. What would that be? 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is, I'm pretty sure it's 64. That's 4, 2, yeah, 64. So 64 is a cube number. 64 times 4 is 64. 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 And it's also a squared number, right? Because 8 times 8 is 64. 5 cubed is the same thing as 5 times 5 times 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. So you're going to have to know that one. 6 cubed. Okay, so 6 times 6 is 36. And then it'd be 36 times 6, which is 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 216. Okay, 216 is a cube number. I don't know if we need to go much higher than 6 cubed. We'll go 7 cubed. 7 cubed, 7 times 7 is 49, then 49 times 7 is 7 times 9 is 63, write the 3, carry the 6. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 6 would be 28, 2, 34. Oh yeah, we got to know that one. Yep, yep, that's a popular one. 343, you need to know that's the same thing as 7 cubed. Let's just go to 10. Okay, so 8 cubed is going to be 8 times 8, which is 64, and then 64 times 8, which is, that's what, 32, write the 2, carry the 3. 48 plus 3 is 512. Okay, so 512 is a cube number. And then almost last, 9 cubed. 9 times 9 is 81, and then 81 times 9 is 9 times 1 is 9, 9 times 8 is 72, 729. And then lastly, 10 cubed, which is 10 times 10, which is 100. 100 times 10 is just 1,000. Okay? So the squared numbers we need to memorize all the way up to 16 squared. The cube numbers we need to memorize is all the way up to 10 cubed, okay? Then there's numbers to the 4th power. So let's go. 1 to the 4th power is just the same thing as 1 times 1 times 1. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is just 1. 2 to the 4th power is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. And then 3 to the 4th power, okay, that's the same thing as 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So 3 times 3, that's 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81, okay? So 3 to the 4th power is 81, which is also the same thing as 9 squared. 4 to the 4th power, okay, 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 squared, we figured that out. That was 256. 256. Okay, and then 5 to the 4th power, and I think that's as high as we'll go. 5 to the 4th power is the same thing as 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5, that's 125. 125 times 5, I'm not sure. 5 to 10, 12, 5, 6, 625. That's 5 to the 4th power. Okay, so those are numbers to the 4th power. So numbers to the 2nd power, square numbers, we need to know 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, 169, 196, 225, and 256. Numbers to the 3rd power, we need to know 1 is the same thing as 1 cubed, 8 is the same thing as 2 cubed, 27 is the same thing as 3 cubed, 64 is the same thing as 4 cubed, 125, 216, 343, 512, 729, 1000. Lastly, numbers to the 4th power, 1, 16, 81, 256, and 625. And then lastly, we have numbers to the 5th power. So the ones that we need to know to the 5th power is going to be 1 to the 5th, which is just the same thing as 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is just 1, right? And then 2 to the 5th, which is the same thing as 2 times 2. Okay, let me write this out. So that's 4. That's 4. 4 times 4 is 16, times 2 is 32. Okay, and then 3 to the 5th is going to be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So this is 9, that's 9. 9 times 9 is 81 times this 3. 81 times 3 is, 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 243. What was that the other? I feel like we had a 243. Oh, no, we had a 343. 343 was 7 cubed. This one's 243. 243. Okay, so those are the only numbers that we're going to memorize to the 5th power. Okay, so for our first practice, we're going to practice these numbers over and over quite a bit, okay? So this is how it's going to work. First, you're going to list off all of the squared numbers, okay? Then you're going to list off all of the cubed numbers. And then you're going to list off all of the numbers to the 4th power. And then numbers to the 5th power. Okay? So that's what one practice is. That's what that means, okay? So let's go ahead and do the first one together. So, ready? We're going to start and just go, start over here and go, okay, 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, 6 squared is 36, 7 squared is 49, 8 squared is 64, 9 squared is 81, 10 squared is 100, 11 squared is 121, 12 squared is 144, 13 squared is 169, 14 squared is 196, 15 squared is 225, 16 squared is 256. That's it. That's as high as we're going for the squared numbers. Now we go to the cube numbers, and we're going all the way to 10. So 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 27, 4 cubed is 64, 5 cubed is 125, 6 cubed is 216, 7 cubed is 343, 8 cubed is 512, 9 cubed is 729, 10 cubed is 1,000. Okay, so those are all the cube numbers there. Now numbers to the 4th power. 1 to the 4th power is 1. 2 to the 4th power is 16. 3 to the 4th power is 81. 4 to the 4th power is 256. 5 to the 4th power, ooh, that's 4th power, is 625. And then lastly, numbers to the 5th power, which would be 1 to the 5th is 1, 2 to the 5th is 32, and 3 to the 5th is 243. Okay, so that's what a practice 1 is, okay? We got the squared numbers up to 16, the cube numbers up to 10, the 4th power up to 5, and the 5th power up to 3. 3 to the 5th. If you cannot do it as fast as I can, that is fine. We're going to practice, okay? So now what I want is I want you to practice this. 2, I want you to do the same thing for practice 2, the same thing for practice 3, and the same thing for practice 4. Now when it gets to practice 5, I want you to wait and pause because we are going to race, you and me, okay? But first I want you to do practice 2, 3, and 4, and you're going to do exactly this. You're just going to do the same thing, okay? We're trying to memorize these squared numbers, memorize these cube numbers, memorize these numbers to the 4th power, and memorize them to the 5th power. And if we just keep writing them over, we're going to commit that to memory. So here's my friend, the pause dragon, reminding you to pause your device. Go ahead and do practice 2, practice 3, and practice 4. You're going to have to turn these in for your notes. And when you get done with those, press play, and we are going to do a race for practice 5. All right? On your mark, get set. Oh, pause. Okay. I hope you did a wonderful job on practice 2, 3, 4, and, well, not 5. We're going to do 5. Okay, so now it's you versus me, okay? I'm going to give you a 10-second head start, and then we are going to go, all right? If you don't want the 10-second head start, when I say, and you think you can beat me, then just wait for the 10 seconds and then just start at the same time, all right? So, okay, ready? Start with the squared numbers, cube numbers, numbers to the 4th power, and numbers to the 5th power. Okay, here we go. On your mark, get set, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's it. All right, did you beat me? If you did, great job. If not, go ahead and race me again. Stop and get out a separate sheet of paper and try to go. So again, these are the squared numbers. We need to know all these numbers. If you have them memorized, it's going to make your assignment a lot easier. These are the cube numbers. You need to have those memorized. These are your numbers to the 4th power. You need to have those memorized. And these are your numbers to the 5th power. You need to have them memorized as well. All right, that's it for our warm-up. I'll see you in a little bit for example 1.